We live? Are we live? Are we live? If so, good morning, everybody, and if not, hey, I tried. I gave you ready. Thank you, Michigan Lifestyle. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, sideways, whatever. It does help. We getting any sound in here? Woo! We 5 by 5. Thank y'all. All right. I'm not showing whether or not we're getting any sound here. Sound is good now. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning, hitting subscribe, all that stuff. Who's in the house before we get started? Outlaw Farms is here. What's going on? Zemi. Adine was first in the house this morning. I think I'm saying that correctly. Congrats. Jank Man, there he is. Kelly, the prepping artist. How are you and Rambo? Hopefully you're doing great. Bama Jen, thank you for being here. Michael G. I just saw Michael G talking about a bunch of divas in the homesteading community. I've seen a bunch of that. I don't know what's up with that. Oklahoma Jim, how are you doing? WM, what's going on? Dome Seeker and Chewbacca. If Chewbacca's in here and I've missed him, Chewbacca, what's up, my man? Chewbacca's nickname is Melon Splitter. Just so y'all know. City to the sticks. Coffee first, then speak. H. Welder, what's going on? Rooster. Oh man, let's see here. That's a long name. Vet GMA, Cat Mom, Florida. All right, I think I got it. Buckeye Patriot, good morning. Big John, what's going on? Laura, how you doing? So I tell you what, I've missed doing this, the live stream where we've had the weekend off. We had a couple pre-recordeds last week. Y'all wanna do this all week? Let me know in the chat. Y'all wanna do it like Monday through Friday? Y'all wanna go live every morning, at least for a little while? I've got a crate club to review, but I can drop that in the afternoon sometime. So a bunch of people have been saying live, live, live. I said, let's go ahead and do it. We'll shorten it up to 45 minutes or something. So we're not wasting anybody's time. But so there's a meeting taking place right now. I told you. Well, I need to thank Robin Hastings for this shirt, by the way. We're taking the beaver to school this morning. Thank you, ma'am. I wore it just for you. So anyway, there's a meeting taking place. It's going on right now. It goes through the 20th. The Economic Forum. Hopefully, y'all know who I'm talking about. Um, Mr. Mr. Klaus. Although I don't know that he's going to be there. Keep your eye on this because Klaus is not going to be there. Soros is not going to be there, at least at the beginning. And the last time those two missed work, we had the September 11th attacks. I'm just saying. So, keep your eyes peeled. They also have Switzerland has deployed 5,000, troops to this meeting. Boy, it sounds like an economic forum. Sounds like a fun place all of a sudden, doesn't it? They've got bulletproof entrances, and stuff like this, so keep your eye on it. There's a video floating around, a recent video of Mr. Klaus, who sometimes is in the chat, though I suspect it's not the real one. What's going on, Forrest? Yeah, hopefully it's not the real one. Maybe he's gonna be late because he's checking chat out this morning, but he's talking about a mass cyber attack. He is in a roundabout way predicting a coming mass cyber attack, and he's saying that the pandemic, economically speaking, will pale in comparison to what this mass cyber attack would potentially look like because it would disconnect everything, from the internet. And, so that's something else to keep your eyes on. Some people still call, they'll call it conspiracy or I'm a conspiracy theorist because I stay on the WEF. Look, let me tell you this. If you go and you Google the World Economic Forum logo and you look at it, you can spot 3 sixes in there. I'm just saying. That's a heck of a coincidence, is it not? Maybe I am a conspiracy theorist, but, it's like a Satanist sock hop in my book. Mr. Bull Hanson, good morning. How are you doing? We're gonna be talking about your area a little bit later as it pertains to the Ukrainian war. A little bit anyway. So, Here's a list, and this is not a comprehensive list, okay? These are some of the people that are on hand for the meeting this week in Davos. Again, you can pull this up. Social media is the way to go. Rebel News is going to be covering this as well. Independently, you're not going to get the truth from mainstream media, obviously, both sides of the aisle. Sorry, fans of Fox News. Google has executives there. Google. BlackRock, of course. The editors of the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post are both in the house for this meeting. The CEO of Amazon and the CEO of Pfizer, folks, they're gonna be at this meeting. The director general of the World Health Organization is there for this meeting. For the Economic Forum meeting, mind you. Prepper Medic, thank you very much for your support for 15 months. That's fantastic. Prepper Medic says WEF will never allow a mass cyber attack. It will screw with their plans to eliminate cash. Um, unless they're coordinated together, maybe. Who knows? China and Russia will not be at this event. I don't think I think Russia's banned from it actually. Not that they would be going anyway, but guess who is going? Y'all's buddy John Kerry. Uh, everybody at this meeting is a traitor to their country. This is my personal opinion because they're over there right now discussing plans, trying to find the most clever way to take your freedoms away. And that's being as point blank as I can be. Again, they Satanist sock hop, so they must have a theme each and every time. The theme this time around, they're calling it cooperation in a fragmented world, which is kind of funny to me because they had a lot to do with it being fragmented, but I digress. And they're talking about electricity is our future. Alan Sarge, thank you very much. So there's a push to go green, and electricity, for those that don't know, it's not really that green. It's not really what you would consider to be a sustainable energy. There's a lot of dirt on the back end. It's kind of like when people like to eat meat, but they can't stand the idea of often animals, would be a great way to put it. But they're willing to eat the meat. Same deal here. People are willing to use the electricity, but they don't wanna think about the coal and the other ways, that electricity is made. You know, they want the fancy iPhones, they don't wanna think about the modern day slavery that comes attached to it. So, anyway, maybe it is a conspiracy theory, and I'm just nuts up here, but I would strongly encourage you to keep an eye on these meetings, um, because some shady stuff always takes place. Every time there's a meeting like this, we get something. We get a war, we get a pandemic, we get lockdowns, we get more wokeness. It's like a trickle down effect, folks. So anyway, switching over because this is going to lead to bad times as well. Um, I have no idea what's coming out of the WEF meeting. I don't know if the war's gonna escalate because of it again. I don't know if we're gonna see a cyber attack. There's no way to know. I'm not in the room. I'm not privileged enough to be in the room with these vampires, but something bad will come from this. I promise you. And it will come in this, for the sake of climate change. They gotta heal the earth, right? But I wanna switch gears because I can tell you with 1,000% certainty what is going down in Ukraine right now. So, Solidar, it's a small, salt mining town, very small town. I think the population prior to the conflict there was 8 or 9,000 people. And I've seen a lot of mainstream media talking heads and stuff on TV, and they're like, "Why are they fighting? Why are they dumping resources into such a small town? Blah, blah, blah. Here's what's getting ready to happen." Okay. Because getting back to Mr. Bull Hansen, his entire territory up there, Finland and all that entire area up there, it's very important to Russia, but they are going to back with NATO, I think. Um, Solidar, the salt mining town, what's happening is Russia just had a munitions depot get nailed by Ukraine. They did. It was a huge screw up on Russia's part, and they're looking at this as a natural underground bunkering system. They're digging in. They're using the winter to dig in to try and make whatever gains they can. They're using the Wagner Group, which is a private military, basically. They're technically not linked with Russia, but they're attached at the hip, folks. And because they know there's a spring offensive coming, Ukraine is going to launch a spring offensive. They're gonna have a lot of Western hardware when they do this, a lot of tanks, a lot of armored vehicles, and so Russia's digging in, they're trying to make solid lines right now. When this offensive happens in the spring, and again, I promise you, that's what's coming. We're going to see shortages, we're going to see price increases big time here in the United States and abroad. Anybody that is helping fund, the war effort or counter war effort, if you will, if you're with Ukraine, if your country's sending stuff there, you're going to begin to see shortages, this spring. And again, this is gonna be on metal, different types of metals. This is gonna be on rubber. This is gonna be on medications. This is gonna be on fuel, anything that is used for war, because as they send this stuff, they send the tanks and things. Time. Thank y'all very much. Going with the Constitution this morning and the American flag, of course. Anytime that you fund a war, this stuff has to come from somewhere, right? Where do y'all think this is gonna come from? Where do you think the fuel for, an escalating war effort is gonna come from? Or the food? Or, the rubber that is needed for tires and things? It's going to come from the civilian supply here in the United States, Great Britain, Australia, France, Germany, on down the line. So we are going to see, um an escalated, um, shortages and things, like walking into a store and it either not being there or you're gonna see the price on some things double. $15 for a dozen of eggs, maybe come spring. I'm just saying, maybe come springtime. I'm always out of focus. Gutter mouth granny, I'm sorry if I'm out of focus, folks. I try and use the natural lighting in the mornings. So and they know this is coming. The Treasury Department, what is her name? Janet Yellen, I think, here in the United States. She's already warned that the US will hit its debt ceiling Thursday of this week. Isn't that a coincidence? Just saying. I mean, we're having this huge meeting with the World Economic Forum at the same time the US is about to hit its debt ceiling, meaning we're not gonna be able to borrow any more money. People don't trust the United States to pay the money back, and quite frankly, I don't blame them. This is gonna limit a lot of things here in the United States. She's saying she's preaching to the house because, her and people like her for many, many years have screwed things up. Now she's preaching to the House of Representatives. She's saying, "You need to pass funding without question. Don't even look at it, just fund it so we can keep the government operational." The government spending money the way it does not need to be operational. They need to learn a hard lesson, unfortunately, but this is gonna affect a lot of things, Medicaid, Medicare, a lot of your social benefit programs. There are 59,000,000 Americans on some sort of major social, they're called welfare programs, but some of them I don't view as welfare, okay? But I'm just saying, this funding has the potential to affect all that stuff, whether it's, government insurance, whether it's food stamps, whether it's, Medicare and stuff like that. So they know. They know it's FUBAR at this point, and they really don't know what to do, and what this is gonna do, the cost of living, people are gonna be doing without a lot of things, and then on top of it, they're actually warning, they're saying the cost of living is going up much faster, than salaries can keep up with. I mean, that's nothing new, but it's getting out of control now. They're saying American workers cannot keep up at this pace. They're kind of drowning in debt at this point, and they don't know what to do. The Fed has no idea what to do. I think that they believe they would be heavy into war at this point, and Russia just has not taken the bait, Russia and its allies. Either way, not to gloom and doom, but the worst is yet to come. Just as a prepper, understand that. The shortages that and we're seeing some shortages right now, folks. Again, here it's over the counter meds. Here it is pet foods and certain aluminum cans and stuff like this. This is nothing. This is the tip of the iceberg. When we see that spring offensive, it come, I believe, when the US economy is crashing, and we're gonna have to try and fund a war effort on the back of a crashing economy, and it's gonna be a silly, stupid recession or even worse. Um, and just to understand what's up, Red Dog? The panic will be unreal. Those that have not prepared will panic on a scale like we probably have never seen in our lifetimes when this happens. When food is limited to 1 or 2 choices on each aisle, for example, or it's unaffordable to the point where most people don't know what to do, and food banks are totally exhausted, by the way, it's gonna lead to a lot of panic. Just saying, so keep your head on a swivel. I wanna jump in the chat for the next 30 minutes or so and see what else is happening around the world here. To dive in for a second to the because a lot of people were talking about this before we went live, that apparently there's a bunch of drama in the homesteading community, and, somebody said maybe John knows something. I don't really talk to any of the homesteading channels like that behind the scenes or anything. I've seen it. I don't know what the beef is back and forth. I try and stay out of all of that, and just kinda stay in my own lane and do my own thing. But, as somebody had commented earlier, people are on edge. A lot of people are angry, and maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it's professional jealousy. I don't know. If there's a creator out there jealous of what's going on over here, man, please don't be. But that's pretty much all I have on that. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to jump into it and assume anything. But these are very large channels that are going back and forth. Um, Yeah, drama thank you, that's a great comment, yay, EMT. Drama only creates division, and there's just no need for it. There's really no need for drama. There never has been, but especially right now, a as preppers or homesteaders or patriots in general, look at what we're up against. Do we really have time for division and drama? We're supposed to be on the same team here, all of us, and it just it seems like petty and splitting hairs and, "Well, you're not doing things a certain way." You know what I'm talking about, right, backwoods, or, "You're not doing things a certain way, and this won't work," and it's just stupid, man. People prep in different ways, and, I've seen some channels say, "Well, I'm gonna put this person on blast, put this per" I'll put myself on blast. I'm a terrible homesteader who's trying to get better. Um we kinda got a shady back alley look over here because I'm not very technically inclined. I put myself on blast because I don't care. Uh, but yeah, Backwoods says, "Right on. What's going on, brother?" Bama J, do what works for you. And more importantly, if you're a content creator, do what makes you happy. Ain't nobody trying to be miserable up here doing this, and I have fun with it. And some people get upset by that. "Ah, you laugh too much." Well, hit the bricks. Go somewhere else where they're gonna scare you on the daily. I try and have a little fun with it, and I enjoy the conversation over here. Two-wheeled prepper, I appreciate the support for 15 months. That's crazy. Thank you. Had to take a break. All this was affecting my stress. Yeah, don't allow this stuff to affect your stress. I understand where you're coming from. I've been there several times, but I've just reached a point. I try and stay informed, and I'm always trying to do something prepping related, but it does not consume me. You have to have other things outside of just I mean, look, man, the WEF, personal opinion, they're Satanists. It really is. It's a good versus evil thing, and it's a nonstop fight from them. They're always dumping crap on us. And I try and resist, and I try and inform and fight back against that, but sometimes I gotta step away for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Couple of days and then come back. Um, and it shouldn't stress you. As we've said here previously, it should be the opposite. If you're prepping, if you're doing anything, you're in the top 10% because most people are not prepping. Most people don't care. Most people think that our society's just gonna be here forever without fail, and they don't understand that 1 or 2 events collapses everything, at least short term. I mean, even something as a, good morning, Greg. Something like a snowstorm, we'll see a snowstorm, and the grid will go down for a few days, 2 or 3 days, maybe a week, and you'll begin to see videos on social media of people looting because they don't know what to do. 3 days in, they're out of food, they're out of baby formula, they don't know what to do, so they resort to looting. That's their plan, and so just understand it, if you have a plan beyond sitting on your butt and looting or marauding, then you're in the top 10%, you're handling your business however you see fit. Not everybody's gonna do it the same way. Single dad prepper just trying to stay informed. I stay away from the drama. Understand that comment. And some people say that the news is not significant, it's white noise, but it is significant. The reason I follow stuff like this meeting in Davos, for example, or Davos, I think some people say, they are planning the next year of tyranny at this meeting. When they leave, the mainstream media figureheads, the bank figureheads, big pharma, your billionaires, they are going to know what the next year looks like for everybody else, and we're just peons, and we're waiting for the hits to come, right? So, again, I do like to stay informed because if you know, if you can kinda predict what is coming, and that's hard to do sometimes, but if you can kinda predict what's coming, you can prep for that. I'm sitting here looking at the war again in Ukraine, and I'm thinking spring offensive. A lot of, Bradley fighting vehicles, I think Leopard tanks, Germany, I don't think they've sent them yet, but they're on the fence about it. As Ukraine gets more armor, they're gonna need time to train with it. This takes a couple of months. By the time they're trained with it, it's springtime. It's time for a spring offensive. They know that. Russia knows that. Russia's digging in. And as somebody that can see that, I know that's gonna lead to shortages, you know? It's better than just prepping the same old way all the time and just shooting in the dark and trying to nail something, You have to be able to predict. Um, the WEF cannot stop the Earth disaster cycle. They'll try, straight up. They'll try. These people can affect the weather. I mean, look, we know, we know that these people have the ability to affect the weather. So if they have the ability to affect the weather, you don't think they're tied into the banking system. You don't think they're tied into the food and supply chain collapse. You don't think they're tied in with big pharma. They're tied in with everything, and they want total control. That's what these people crave. It goes way beyond just making money. What stresses me, Tracy says, my family, I stay with thinking nothing gonna happen except inflation. Well, inflation, yeah, I mean, that the writing's on the wall. It's happening now, and it's going to continue. You're right with that. Said I was crazy and the government can't keep us in a 15-minute area. They will not keep me in a 15-minute area ever. I've been seeing videos where this is happening in certain parts of the world now. They're trying to keep them. It's prison. It becomes a prison planet when they're putting you in a 15-minute area, 15-minute city, whatever. And they're putting up these roadblocks and stuff now, and these are popular on military bases, or at least they used to be when I was a kid. There'd be holes in the ground, and they stick these big metal, rods down in the ground to prevent traffic from coming through. And now at nighttime, what's happening is people are coming out, they're pulling the rod out of the ground, they're filling the thing up with concrete. They're filling the holes and stuff up. There are ways to fight the tyranny, but I saw a picture last night. I don't remember where I saw it. I think Twitter maybe, but it says when the people stand up, the party's over. And it showed these elites, they're drinking, they're eating meat, they're just having a good old time. and all of us peons were on our hands and knees with the table on our back, you know? When the people stand up, the table goes flying and the party's over, and we have to reach that point. Captain Coral, sorry, I'm trying to catch your comment here. Have you heard anything about the banks crashing Thursday unless the debt ceiling is raised? If the debt ceiling's not raised, it's gonna do funny things with the banks. Now, I can't sit here and tell you which ones would crash. I mean, they would probably start limiting how much can be drawn out of the bank at one time or how much can be moved around, limiting store hours. You may see some of the online banking portals and stuff just go offline. They'll say it's a technical glitch. We don't keep a lot of money in the bank. I didn't trust them 10 years ago. I certainly don't trust money in there now. Backwoods says bad people exist in all communities, forms, and fashions. Some drama is necessary to see who they are now. That's excellent. I don't want to find out about someone after SHTF. Yeah. And that goes along with that's a great point, brother. Paying attention, not just to the pandemic, for example. A lot of people are keyed in on the pandemic when we were going through it. Some people still think we're in it full blown. They got 5 masks on or whatever you want to do. But when this thing was happening, most people were focused on what will my mayor let me do this week, or what will my governor let me do this week, or when is this thing over? But the smart people were paying attention to everyone around them, to Backwoods's point, because you get a sense of how people are gonna act. Snowstorm, you can use any event here. Snowstorm, you see people. Snowstorm's coming, you see the unprepared rushing to the grocery stores. So, it used to be bread, milk, and eggs. They've probably switched out eggs, they're too expensive now. Just panic. You see people stacking cases of beer sometimes in carts and stuff. You can learn a lot by just paying attention, just watching the chaos. You really can, because the chaos looks the same. The events may change, but the chaos looks the same. Cyber attack, the way people deal with a cyber attack when they're unprepared is gonna be very similar to the way they would deal with the chaos if it was a snowstorm or something like that. It's the same chaos. That's what you pay attention to because you can expect it every single time. Milk sandwiches, yes, Dynamite. How are you doing, man? Milk sandwiches, and I never understood it. No eggs at Costco, Amelia said. Roads were closed from the snowstorms. Um, Reading the chat here. And I mean, there's gonna be distraction out there, like, I keep hearing about Biden's documents being found here, here. Yeah, milk sandwiches, it's a joke. Like, everybody runs out and gets bread and milk before something, just because. But, it's a distraction, plain and simple. They're not number 1, they're probably not gonna do anything to Joe Biden anyway. It's just gonna be a bunch of nonsensical noise and distraction. Or if they do, we get Kamala Harris. Oh boy, I can't wait for that one, Santa Claus. Kamala Harris is president. Hunter Moon, good morning. How are you doing? As I was reading the, oh God, what do they call it again? Cooperation in a fragmented world. Electricity is our future. When I was reading that quote, "Electricity is our future," I was thinking, um, hey, Tim, I was thinking, sure it is, because when they reset things and they need, total compliance and they wanna take when they wanna be able to track you, okay, they're not gonna be able to do that if you're using a gas stove. Hmm? They're not gonna be able to do that if you're using a wood stove. They need you connected to the internet in every room of your house. They want your phone already is connected unless you're using a black hole bag. I've been known to do it. But, they want you connected 24/7 because if you step out of the surveillance area, oh, man, they don't like that, and, so they're discussing that as well this weekend. They just dress it up with, fancy wording. I don't eat bread much, goes bad way too fast, he said. Yeah, well, I mean, preppers, we got flour and stuff like that on hand anyway, but this is just people that I don't know, it's more of a knee-jerk reaction. Bread, milk, eggs, beer, there might be something else, I don't know, microwave dinners, I've never understood that one either. Johnny said, "I just ordered an assault stove, multiple burners and knobs." Um, the Libertarian Party the other day, they put out a tweet that said, "I lost all my gas stoves in a boating accident." Yeah, Art Nanny, grid is already strained, so seriously gonna put all that heat electric. Yeah, they are. They know it's strained, and that's exactly why they chose it, that and the internet connectivity, you know what I mean? It's harder to connect a wood stove to the internet, for example, so they're gonna say that's bad for the planet, they're gonna put you on an electric stove, and then they're gonna say, "Well, the grid is too frail, we'll get rolling blackouts, or we're gonna have to remotely, turn your furnace down," and stuff like this. They know what they're doing. It's a mess of total control. Yeah, Amelia, the nonsense of the gas stove is that America's rich in natural gas, but if you have too much, then they can't lord it over you. You know what I'm saying? So they have to specifically grab something that's in limited supply, because limited supply gives them total control over your life. Lord Eagle, I saw that. The bird flu supposedly is putting the chicken industry to the flames right now. So I'm not disputing that there's a bird flu. I think that there probably is, but I'd say they were quick to jump on it and politicize it and blow things out of control and tons of regulations and stuff to make the problem worse. You know, they're very quick when they see a problem, whether it's small or large, dumping gasoline all over it, to make it 10 times worse. Minuteman's not playing. He said their lives might be a limited supply. Look, man, they know over in Davos right now, or Davos, they know. That's why they have 5,000 armed soldiers over there, and they got tons of police over there. And I don't work for Rebel News, but if y'all check them out, they're doing live streams and stuff. And, they're trying to interview people as they go in and out, and the police are like, "You can't be filming here." And they're like, "Why not?" We're in the open air. We're not allowed to film who's coming and going and stuff like this, so they're already getting hassled. Um, yeah, Art Nanny says Japan's culling adjoining farms, that sort of stuff, when there's and again, I don't know if it's panic or if it's planned that way. I would, be more prone to say that they've planned it that way to increase the problem, to increase the price of chicken so they can say, "Hey, we got this synthetic stuff." And, I ain't eating that. Loretta says, "I love my gas stove and wish they would try and take it." Um, you might need bail money. I think they'll start fining at some point. I don't know that we get to the point of them coming to your door and taking it, but I think you're gonna have to pay some kind of surcharge or fine, and they'll try and price you out of owning it at some point. And then also what's available, like, when we went several months back to get our refrigerator, it was kind of hard to find a refrigerator that was not a smart device that's connected to the internet and all of this stuff. We just wanted a plain Jane refrigerator, and we actually had to shop around because most places we went into, the showrooms or whatever for refrigerators, they were online connected, they had the TV screens on them. We're like, "We don't need all of this." Syntax, there you go, Sven. Rebecca, thank you very much. Going to the Capitol for Lobby Day will let y'all know how many gun advocates show up. Awesome, thank you, and thank you for that, super chat as well. But, I mean, that's just the way it is, man. And I think as stoves and things, eventually, if you have a gas stove, you're gonna have to replace it. Now, I ain't trying to jinx nothing, son, but hopefully it lasts a long time, but then when it's time to replace it and you go to get one and they don't have any, all they have is the electric, smart device, smart connected, stoves and things. What kind of choice is that, you know? Second Amendment, thank you very much for that super chat. Irish Rebel, I appreciate it. It's not necessary, but I appreciate it very, very much. Maximum Sustained Performance said they will control the gas supply so your gas stove will not work without gas. Yeah. Same thing. I mean, I know it's a totally different subject, but same principle, right? As you're saying, can't ban the guns, you buy up all the ammo, or you make sure there's very little ammo to go around because without it, the guns really won't work too well, right? Um, or some people call them boomsticks. I call them guns over here. Maybe that's the problem. But yeah, same thing, man. If you can't get the gas you need, wood stoves are very dangerous because of this, though. Because hey, man, wood stoves are dependable. And at least where I'm at, there's wood everywhere, and all I would have to worry about would be snitching neighbors, and I don't think they're gonna snitch. Tammy says, "All of these so-called leaders are nothing but murderers." If you're talking about the meeting, the WEF meeting that's taking place right now, all of the people that are there are transferring the power that we have as US citizens, or they're trying, to the WEF, transferring more and more power each and every year when they have these meetings. Night of the Living Prepper. What if our gas stoves ran on hydrogen and its a byproduct was clean drinking water? They still wouldn't care, man, because that doesn't give them control, you know? If you're independent, off the grid, you got your own solar setup, that's a lot cleaner than electricity, right? They don't want you to do that because then you're outside of the surveillance area or outside of the beast system, if you will. So they're gonna tax you until you come back in. They can't ban these stoves in my state as of right now, but I'm telling you, the right tyrant gets in power as a governor or something, they know how to infiltrate the governments. They do. They've done it in DC already, and a lot of other states as well, and eventually they're gonna flip-flop that around. Chad, what's going on, brother? I read the articles about the gas stove pricing you out starting in June and requiring diffuses to remove carbon and NOx emissions from within. Um, it's all a hustle, man. You know, as somebody once said, "It's a big old party and we ain't in it. It's a big club and we're not in it. We're just here to make these people rich." Uh, now, Brock, no. If you are not getting John's notifications, try unsubbing, waiting a few seconds, and resubbing. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. There's not a whole lot I can do other than put out a notification and stuff. Um, I would notify y'all all personally if I could, if I had that kind of time, but I don't. Google be Google. Randy, how can they force civilians to use electric when all commercial kitchens will still use gas? For the same reason that Biden said that, they're thinking about outlawing gas stoves, and then the White House tweeted out a picture of Jill Biden cooking on a gas stove. Um, Rules for thee, but not me, that sort of thing. Secret squirrel. Did you hear anything about the chicken feed having a lack of taurine and something else missing from the feed? Um, the end result was that egg production would drop because of that. I have not heard that, but I do not put that past these people. If they can figure out a way to produce less food, less real food, they will do it. They will invest heavily in it. Mike McDonald, I'll have to go back and read that. It kind of flew by on me, but, have a nice cold pint. I caught that part. So enjoy yourself. Oh, okay. Backwoods says, yes, he's heard that. Tractor Supply brand chicken feed. Bamagen, just wait until they go after the kids with the next pandemic, and that's we'll start to wrap up shop until tomorrow morning, okay? But that's the interesting part about these meetings, because as I think about the meeting they're having behind closed doors, of course, mainstream media is gonna report on it, but they're gonna give whatever narrative they wanna give. We're not hearing the real conversations. They could very well be sitting there saying, well, the trial runs over on the pandemic. Now it's time to release the real one. They could be sitting there planning which day they're going to crash the economy, planning all kinds of stuff. They could be planning the next set of lockdowns and 15-minute cities all over the place, and we'd be none the wiser. These people are evil. They really are. And they don't care about ruining your life, my life, the lives of children. They love it, actually. Janice says, "Jack in the coffee cup." Uh-oh. Well, Danny, I'm not calling for any kind of violence, but I did see that somebody had posted that on social media last night. There was a picture of Putin like he was gonna push the nuke buttons, and then it showed a bunch hitting Davos. Like, well, you know, if you wanna cure the ills of the world, that would be one way to do it. Most of the monsters are in one place, not all of them. Triple T Tony, how are you doing this morning? Raven Peace as hell is gonna be so full. And again, if you missed it, if you've just joined in and you think it's a conspiracy theory, again, go check the World Economic Forum, the logo. They got the little looks like a planet or something, but it cuts right through the O's and it makes 3 sticks. They're putting it right in your face. Now I don't know. That could be one heck of a coincidence, just like the family ties of, Francois. Research that one a little bit. Research it, dig around, find out who his father was and what rank he was in Nazi Germany, and then come back and tell me, "Ah, it's just a conspiracy theory." "Ah, man, it's just a conspiracy theory." Dude is probably over there right now, "They will eat the bugs." I can't do his accent. "They will eat the bugs, and we coming for backwoods and Woodstock." No coincidence, you're right, Bamajan, it's not. No, no, Scar, not nuke the whole world. Just where the infestation of these Satanists are at one time. Viva las the questions. You will sit there, beavering no allowed. Oh, yeah, yeah, Piney Woods Prepper says Bill Gates is pushing plant-based meat in as the future. He's not just pushing it, he's manufacturing it in different countries. There have been some protests against it, and a couple of his warehouses have been burned down and stuff. He's looking to get rich off of it. I mean, he's already rich, but he wants to get richer. That's how these people operate. Um, well, see, RPM says you no longer have free will. That's gonna be an issue, because my free will is not going anywhere. I mean, I guess it's going into the corner here on Google. They hate this channel, but, Other than that, Long Hunter, us conspiracy theorists are accurate, more accurate than the weather people. We are, and we still get called crazy. I'm not saying we got everything right during the pandemic, but man, did we get a bunch of stuff right during the pandemic and shortly after. Uh, so anyway, thank y'all for being here this morning. And you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it the rest of the week. We'll hit about 45 minutes or so every morning this week. Amelia, I'm glad this is your favorite channel. You're the class president. So I appreciate that comment. And Ink Scars throwing the middle finger up to the WEF. Y'all take care. God bless.